Hello, friends. Good evening. Let's just check this sound here, if it's working. Let's see. Okay. See. I yeah, it's working. That's good. Okay. Connect here. Okay, guys. Good evening, everyone. Nice to have you guys here. Let's just wait a little bit here. Then more people they can come. It's a nice day, despite that we don't have much sun. Dublin's like this sometimes, even in the summer, but it's still a nice day. Okay, let's just wait here. Okay, guys, so we're gonna do our initial prayer, but before we go ahead, tonight, we are studying the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 24. Do not hide the light under a bushel. Okay, again, that's another parable of Jesus. So we're going to be studying here tonight to try to understand what does that mean according to the spirits. Okay. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Let's be thankful for everything that we have. Let's be thankful for the clarity and knowledge which Spiritism brings to us. Let's be thankful for all those who came before us in order to open the way, in order to bring these beautiful teachings from our Master Jesus with Allan Kardec and the good spirits. So we hope that tonight this study will be fruitful and good to everyone. Let's start and thank God, and so be it. Let me just stop this here. Oops. Okay, guys. So again, good evening, everyone. So we're going to start today here on chapter 24. This chapter here, I'd say the main aspect is to bring some explanations about why certain times in the Bible, as we were talking before, Jesus spoke in parables, and why in other times he spoke freely and clearly to everyone. Like he says here, that we shouldn't add the light under a bushel. Okay? Um, so, what he's trying to say to us here, once we have certain knowledge, or once we know something which is good for ourselves and everyone, do we have to hide this light or this knowledge? Is it correct to hide this knowledge from the others? Why don't we speak clearly about this knowledge with everyone? Then we can say that Jesus was the one who was putting the light under the bushel. But was he really hiding things from the others? Why didn't he speak clearly to everyone? And here we have a passage which is from Luke, which is in the Gospel according to Spiritism, that Jesus says, no one after having lighted a candle covers it up with a vessel. You should not put that under the bed, but we should set this candlestick high so that everyone who comes into the room can see this light in the candlestick, not under the bed. Then he says something here which is quite beautiful. For there is nothing secret that shall not be disclosed, neither anything hid that shall not be made known to everyone and shall be open. So Jesus is saying here to us that there is nothing, nothing. When I mean nothing, I mean nothing. There is no knowledge that we can hide forever. Then you guys can ask me, but Vanderlei, I don't know, until what? 300 years ago with Newton, we had no idea about gravity. Until, I don't know, 30 years ago, we had no idea that we could have had internet. Or let's say for some things, some penicillin or any kind of medicine which was created for humanity in order to help our health and to make less our suffering, didn't exist for a long, long time. But what I'm trying to say is like this: that everything comes with the in the right time in society, in the universe. Even if God does not hide things from us, we still don't know many things. We start to understand the life after death clearly and properly, very, let's say, in a very open minded way with the works of Allan Kardec. But all religions, all previous philosophies, they spoke about this, the life after death, but they spoke in their own way, with their own culture. But Kardec and the good spirits, they brought it a bit more clear to us. So here, as it says, nothing can be hidden forever. But we need the correct time to bring things to us. That's why here, it was strange because the apostles, they asked Jesus once, why do you speak with them in parables? And Jesus replied to them, because it has given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but not to them. So then, why would Jesus only say the secrets or the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven to the disciples and not to everyone? Because not everyone was read at that time. So our main goal here is try to explain that not everything that we want or not all knowledge surrounding us will be revealed at once. Things that are revealed step by step, really, really slowly through the good spirits at the correct time of our existence of humanity. So, for example, nowadays we don't know the mysteries of something. Remember, guys, until I don't know what 3 years ago, we had no clue, in fact, how a dark hole was. Recently, we got a lady in NASA who was able to get a picture from the dark hole. So things are coming, even things far away from us in the universe. These things they would be revealed to us, but not yet. We need time. Our humanity must evolve in order to be able to understand these knowledges and these secrets or this kind of hidden truths that we have, all the mysteries that we have in nature. For us, 300 years ago, a thunder would be something from the gods. Nowadays, we know that a thunder, a storm, is not something which God goes there and say, "Let's thunder now." Bam! No, we know that's a natural effect in nature. The same happens once we have an earthquake. It's not because God was annoyed with us. An earthquake is something natural, which happens, inside of Earth. But now we have this knowledge. But people 2,000 years ago, at the time of Jesus, they thought everything was unnatural. That everything um, was from the gods, because for many traditions they have more than one god. So that's why we have to understand that things take time. Nice, Lou. Hi, Lou. Hi, Robbie. Hi, guys. How are you doing? So that's what this main uh, that's what this chapter is about. And here we have in this same passage in the Bible when the prophet Isaiah have an old prophet who says, "You will hear through your ears, but we will not understand. You will see with your eyes, but will not perceive. For the hearts of those have become hardened. Their ears are hard of hearing, but their eyes are closed, and their eyes, in case at any time they might see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and come to understand with their hearts, because they are not converted yet. So again, here the prophet Isaiah, he tries to explain to us that many of us will hear the truth, but our heart is not ready yet. Our intellect is not ready yet. So we will not assimilate. We will see certain things, but we will not care. It's like sometimes we say here, if Jesus came here today and said, I'm Jesus, and even if we know that was he, we wouldn't care. Many of us, we wouldn't care. That's why everything takes a certain time to develop. And here, the spirits, they explain to us uh, that God treats us like children. Imagine like this: you are a father, you have 10 children, okay? And you have to give a very important task to one of them. For which children would you give this task? For whom would you give that? Of course, you as a father, you're gonna give to the one that you believe is more prepared to receive that task. The same happens. The same happened 2,000 years ago. That's why, according to the spirits, Jesus came in among the Jews, because the Jews, they believed that there was only one God. Many countries surrounding the Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Capernaum, many countries such as Greece, such as many places as in the Mediterranean or Syria, they believe they have many, many gods. In Egypt, for example, you know what I mean? So, but according to the spirits, Jesus came among the Jews because the Jews, they have this knowledge of the one God only. So the Jews, at least, they understood this true, which is there is only one God. There is not many gods. That's why Jesus came to the Jews, according to the spirits, because they were more prepared to receive certain knowledge, and because also they used to follow the Torah, the law of Moses, the Old Testament. Even if we believe that the Old Testament was not is not, I wouldn't say that's not valid anymore, that's too harsh, but it served well for that time of Moses, but does not really fit our days nowadays, and Jesus knew that also. That's why Jesus starts to talk about love, he starts to talk about forgiveness, he starts to talk about charity, he starts to say love your enemies as you love yourself, give the other cheek. But before, no, with Moses was an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So when God sent Jesus to earth wasn't red, but was a little bit more prepared than before. And that's why, according to, as we said here, that's why he came among the Jews. And here we have to understand, as the Spirit says here, all teaching should be proportional according to the intelligence of those who are taught, because there are certain people for whom a too brilliant light would blind them without enlightening them in any way. So let's read that again. That's quite complex. All teachings should be proportional according to the intelligence of those who to be taught, because there are certain people for whom a too brilliant light would blind without enlightening them in any way. So the spirits are saying to us that many teachings, hidden about the universe, about spirits, about technology that we're gonna have soon revealed to us through missionaries who will come to Earth in order to make Earth to progress. If they give this kind of knowledge nowadays, this light will be too strong for them. This knowledge is too powerful to us. So that's just gonna shock us, but that's not gonna teach us anything. Let me give an example. Imagine if you go back 2,000 years ago and you meet the apostles and you say, guys, let's talk about quantum physics. Let's talk about internet. let's talk about gravity, let's talk about, I don't know, dark holes or something like this, the apostles, they would look at you and they would think, who's this guy? Is he crazy? Is he on drugs or what? What's going on with this guy? They would have no clue about these kind of things. So why? That's why spirituality only brings these certain knowledges to humanity once humanity is perhaps a little bit read. Let's say humanity is read. Okay, it's not because the knowledge was brought today that we all going to believe today. So take some time. So let's say that this kind of knowledge only comes once humanity is read. That's why Spiritism only came in the 1850s in France. Why? Because that time humanity had already enlightened themselves a little bit. They passed through dark ages. You know, they suffered a lot with the what's it called, the Crusades. Then, when Europe was there with no resource, they tried to go to the New World. So they start to exchange ideas. I'm not saying what they did was good because we all know what they did in the Americas. But anyway, they were trying to explore and to seek to know new things. Because we have to understand that perhaps the best way is not always followed. So sometimes our knowledge comes to us, but because we are filtered and a very dirt filter, by the way, sometimes we don't grasp properly the ideas of the spirits. Then we make mistakes once we are trying to share these ideas and this knowledge. Okay, let me see here. Like Rob says here, I believe that all happens as it should. I agree, Robbie. I agree. One thing that you have to understand that the time of God is completely different than our time. Guys, who are we? We were in the savannas. We were climbing trees 30,000 years ago. Earth has 4.5 billion years. We are nothing. There is an astronomer called Carl Sagan in his TV program called Cosmos. He explains to us that we are, um, let's say, if we could take 1 year from the first second of 1st of January until the last second of 31st of December, humanity only came to Earth, let's say, in the half second of the last day of the year. So before this, there was no humanity. So all the knowledge that we are gathered nowadays, we have been gathering this for the past 30,000 years. So we are still kids in the playground here. We are still learning. And that's what the spirits are trying to say to us. They are trying to explain here to us. And here, um, as they say here, the same thing can happen to mankind in general, as it can happen also with an individual. The generations have their infancy, their youth, and their maturity. Each thing must come at the right moment, like Rob said. So you see, like how the spirits they say that generations, countries, civilizations, they have their time where they are still in the infants. They have their time when they're in their youth, and there are times that they are in their maturity. So I believe, to be really honest, I think Earth, we are like in our, we are getting to our 18s, 19s perhaps. So we're still in the youth, but we are understanding things a bit more, you know. And like Andre Luis explained to us many times, that before the knowledge, let's say, we come here and we discover photography, or we discover the radio, or we discover the artificial intelligence. All this kind of knowledge and inventions which mankind believe they simply created from their minds are inspirations from the spirit which came to earth at the correct time. It didn't come before because Earth was not ready to assimilate this kind of knowledge. Now, but now we are. But for example, many things we are not ready yet to understand. For example, for us with Spiritism, we are understanding how is the death process, how a spirit will find himself in the spiritual world, depending on what he did here. We understand that there is no heaven, there is no heaven and no hell. But we in Spiritism, we have this information. So if perhaps this information came to us, maybe we are a bit more mature. But then comes the trick part. Jesus said also, for those who are giving more, more shall be asked. So if we have the chance to understand, to learn Spiritism, to study Spiritism, we have to understand that, like Jesus said here in the parable, that's a light. We cannot hide this light anymore under a bushel. We have to take this light and try to spread. What I mean trying to spread, guys, please don't put a microphone, don't take the Spirit's book, and don't go to a square and start to shout about Spiritism to people. No, we are not talking about this. Okay? Please. When we say try to spread Spiritism, we have the chance to talk about Spiritism so many times. For example, a friend comes to us and say, "Hey, you talk about reincarnation sometimes. You talk about this guy, Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, Haroldo. Who are these people? Tell me a little bit more about them." Then you go there and you explain to them. Or then maybe they see a Hollywood movie where there is things about afterlife. Then they start to become curious. They go there and they Google, and then they search about Spiritism. Then they know someone who knows about Spiritism. So we should try to talk to people about Spiritism when people they come to us. Do not take Spiritism as a weapon, as a tool. It's not because you believe that everyone must believe. Each one of us, we have our own time. Many people, I'd say the majority of the people on earth, they're gonna die in the next 30 years, and the other ones is gonna be born and so on. The people who are nowadays between their 30s and 70s, they're gonna die, they're never gonna hear about Spiritism, and that's fine. And the spirits, they knew it. They knew that it would take some time, but eventually everyone will hear that. Not that everyone will become spiritist. That's not true. And Kardec says that in the Spirit's book that when the spirits they asked Kardec if spiritism will be the main religion in the future, the spirit said no chance. Why? Because people have different cultures and background. So we cannot expect that everyone is going to believe in the same thing. But people they will understand that life is more than this. That's the goal of Spiritism. So people in 100 years' time, they perhaps they're not going to go to a spirit center, but I believe, as André Luis and the spirits explain to us, at least they're going to start to believe more reincarnation. They're going to start to believe more that their attitudes, their actions are so important, and whatever they believe about heaven and hell, that will, let's say, if they believe in some kind of heaven and hell, they will start to understand that that doesn't really exist. That will depend upon our actions, on how we exercise our free will. So everything has time to come. And here, we have to understand that sometimes in society, we have men who maybe they gathered some kind of knowledge and they only kept for themselves. But there were some men like this, they didn't keep for themselves because the people surrounding them they weren't read, but they were selfish. They tried to hide that knowledge only for them. That's why he says here that this kind of men they are the ones who truly try to put the light under the bushel, because some people they are too selfish and so afraid of the others that once they know about something they say, okay, I'm not going to say anything to anyone, I'm going to keep for myself, I'm going to be quiet. That's what they say. But guys, I believe most of the people are, at least I am like this. Once I'm happy, once I like something and I believe something is good, I cannot be quiet. Normally, I say to people, maybe I'm not gonna go and say, hey, I believe in this and that. But whenever someone comes to me, if they ask me anything, if they, do you have a religion? I say yes. I'm a spiritist. What is spiritism? And I try to explain to them. Some people they say, okay, another crazy one. Let him pass. Some people they come to me and they ask me, can you explain a bit more about this? You know, so that's why you have to understand. That's why when Jesus said that the kingdoms, the secrets of the kingdom of heaven was not to everyone, he wasn't trying to select only the apostles because that would go against his teachings, because that would not be charitable. Because Jesus, most of the time, I mean, all the time, he preached love, he preached equality. Remember, Jesus used to go, and at the time of Jesus, women they were not seen as a citizen society, and Jesus tried to break this down. Once he protects Mary Magdalene, once he talks with Lazarus' sisters, once he goes and talks to the Samaritan woman, you know. So Jesus was trying to break this kind of, sorry, old traditions. So what I'm trying to say here, that if Jesus was only selecting a few people to share his knowledge, he wouldn't be Jesus, you know. But Jesus knew who were the apostles. Emmanuel says to us that once he met Jesus in the book 2000 years ago, he felt his soul shaking. He was sweating. And he said, who is this man? You know, many people, according to Humberto de Campos, like Zaqueu, who we believe is Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, it's one of his reincarnations. Once he met Jesus, he was in shock. So a lot of people, once they met Jesus, they felt something. But many people, they saw Jesus, they didn't care about him. They put him in the cross, they killed him. They didn't care about what he was saying, because those people, they were in the, they those people and Jesus, they were in the same vibration. It's quite simple. Let's forget about the religious aspect. It's like this: we go to a place. When Jesus was there were some people they were in a completely different vibration. Therefore, they couldn't feel what Jesus was saying. They couldn't hear, as Isaiah said here. They're gonna hear with their ears, but they're not gonna listen to anything. They're not gonna pay to any attention to the words. So, but Jesus understood that that man who was surrounding him, perhaps they have a more open heart, and they were spirits more prepared. We have to say, you know, that's a point that we have to make. You know, as it says here, what people still do not comprehend will be revealed in succession, in more advanced words. When they reach purification, when they reach purification, guys, sorry, apologies, here on earth they still in a thick fog. So what the spirits are saying here, that some spirits in different worlds, they are reaching their purification, but here on earth we are in a dense fog, because earth is still a planet of suffering. That's why Jesus said happiness is not of this world. He knew that. But of course, he always spoke about the kingdom of heaven, about the kingdom of God, about the world that will come. Of course, Emmanuel explains to us that what Jesus meant actually was um, the kingdom of heaven is the inner peace in mankind's hearts. So once we have our free conscience, we have a clear conscience, once we are fine with ourselves, once we respect the others, once we help those, once we have the chance and we can, once we try to be nicer, then we are reaching the kingdom of heaven. But when a lot of people they are in this stage, that's when earth will change, as we told before about the world of regeneration that's about to come. But here the spirits are saying to us that we are still in a thick fog, so it will take time to us, in order to understand this kind of knowledge. Guys, Jesus spoke about love 2000 years ago. And now I ask you guys, do you guys believe that we love one another? Guys, come on. I don't know, I'd say 1/4 of the entire population of Earth tries to do this. Okay, let's be a bit more positive. Let's say that 5% of the entire population, they try to, act with the others as they want to the others to act with them. So the teachings of Jesus, they are still learning it, and Jesus knew it. He knew it. A spirit like Jesus didn't come to here on earth by mistake. He knew it. That okay, I'm gonna explain that to them, but it's gonna take 2, 3, 4,000 years until then start to comprehend. But of course, some people they will learn that before. That's why we have a Chico Xavier, we have an Emmanuel, we have a Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, we have those who are not spiritists but who did great to earth, like Stephen Hawking. We have Einstein. Those spirits, they come to earth to try to do something good. They try to come to earth to bring to us some knowledge. So among all this entire humanity, we have a few ones who are coming. And that's what the spiritists they say, that God is so good that he brings one person here, one person there, one person far away, one person to a different nation, with different kind of knowledges and with different kind of messages, which when the others around them hear and will see that, some of them will start to do, they will start to follow, because not everyone will follow what is good, because our heart, part of our heart, is still in darkness, but it will be in light one day. But it will take time, because not all of us we are prepared at the same time. We are not prepared at once. It takes, it takes this, how do you call, this germination. We plant a seed there, then, like we have in the parable of the soil, that the sower went to the field and threw his seeds in some kind of soil, but that seed didn't even went to earth, to the ground, and he kept going. Then he threw the seed somewhere, but in that place the seed grew a little bit but died soon. And he kept going, and he threw the seed somewhere where it gave a half tree, but eventually died also, until he found a soil, until he found a land where the same seed gave a beautiful tree, give fruits. So what he is trying to say to us, that the truth comes to us, but not all of us are a good soil yet. We are not a land which is prepared yet. It takes time. I know I'm repeating myself, but we have to understand about this, because otherwise we might think that why Chico Xavier is Chico Xavier and why I'm Vanderlei? Why I still have so many things which I have to deal with? Why Chico was like so good? Why you have a Pope Francis who seems to be a really nice guy? And why am I struggling? We have to understand that those ones, they are the soil which is more prepared. And what prepares the soil? Our free will. Perhaps they use their free will better than I did. And also time, reincarnations throughout reincarnations. But the main thing is their choices. They exercise better their free will than I did. Many people, once you take in the gospel, we see many cures of Jesus. Humberto de Campos explained to us that many people who were cured by Jesus, later on they got sick. Many people who Jesus cured their eyes, later on they got blind. Many people who couldn't walk and just helped them to walk again, soon they were on the floor again. Why? Humberto de Campos explains to us that those ones, they want the cure, but they didn't want the hard work of keeping their vibration, their thoughts, and their actions in a good way. That's why Jesus said that phrase, which perhaps is quite strong. go and do not sin anymore. But when Jesus says this, go and do not sin anymore, he's trying to say, be careful with your vibration because I'm helping you here right now. But if you start to do the same things again, I'm not going to be here anymore for you. Then that will come back to you. Why? Is that because God is bad? No, because you are out of you left that level of vibration and you went down again. That's why you have to pay attention to what we do, you know? And here, let me see here. We have this part here also that in item 8, which the spirits they say, do not keep company with the Gentiles. In some translations, it says, don't go out to the Gentiles. So it's a matter of translation, okay? If you guys have any questions, guys, please go ahead. Feel free to stop. But just to clarify, guys, Gentiles at the time of Jesus were all of those who were not Jews, who didn't believe in the Abraham traditions. So if you are a pagan, what was a pagan? A pagan was everyone who believed that there were many gods. Okay, so if you believe like in Zeus, if you believe in Athens, if you believe in Hades, you're a pagan. And pagan also was, let's say, if you are Assyrian or if you are an Egyptian, even if you don't believe in the Greek gods, but you believe in many gods, we could say that you are a pagan also. So Gentile here are pagans, are everyone who didn't believe in only one God, who didn't believe in the Jewish traditions. But then I ask you guys, why would Jesus say, do not go to the Gentiles? He says here in Matthew 10, to these 12 that Jesus sent out and gave them the order, saying, do not go amongst the Gentiles or in any city of the Samaritans, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And wherever you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is near. So Jesus is saying here, it's his words according to the good spirits. He said that. And in many gospels we have this. The other day I heard a guy, how you call his name? I forgot. He's a philosopher, and he was talking about this part. Was very curious to me because he said that Jesus was someone who only wants the cure for the Jewish people. That's why he said this. And when I was hearing that, I was saying maybe the guy didn't read the other parts of the gospel, because in many other parts of the gospel, Jesus say, "None of the sheep that the Father gave to me will be lost." He said, love your enemies as you love yourself." So enemies, he was talking about the Romans. To be very honest, I'd say when Jesus is saying this, he's saying to the Jewish people, "Your enemies are the Romans." But I mean, all the enemies. But he was directing that to the Romans. The Romans, they were pagans. So how come he would say, "Love your enemies as you love yourself"? Once he goes to the Samaritan woman, he says to the Samaritan woman in the well that if he drank the water that he would give, she'll be no more thirst no more. So she was trying to help her and clarify her. But here he says, do not go to any Samaritan city. So let's try to understand here again why Jesus was saying this. I said already, guys, because according to the spirits, Jesus understood that the Jewish people, they were readier to receive that kind of teachings. That's why he was saying this. And that's why I believe it's so the spirits, they do not do anything on by chance. Everything the spiritual world has a plan. We cannot imagine here as a spiritist, we believe that Jesus is the most perfect spirit who ever lived on earth. He is the model and guide to humankind. Okay? That's what we believe here, okay? So would you believe, guys, that a spirit like him, that Emmanuel says in the book On the Way of the Light, that when earth was start to being created, Jesus was there helping God to create earth. So when so 4.5 billions ago years ago, Jesus was already a pure spirit, according to spiritists, of course. If someone here is watching us is not a spiritist, perhaps you may think different. But again, we are using spiritist knowledge to say this. So do you believe that a spirit like him or the group of the good spirits, they would do anything by mistake, guys? Do you really believe? So how come then Jesus would say to the apostles, don't go to them? And later on, what did he do? He said to Paul of Tarsus, to the chosen vessel, go and spread the gospel to the Gentiles. But why could not the apostles spread the gospel to the Gentiles, and why Paul could? That's a very trick question, because Jesus knew everyone who was surrounding him. Each one of the 12 apostles, the main ones, the first ones who were living with him, they have their mission. But their mission, there was no relation with the Gentiles. And Jesus knew that to go to a Greek man, to go to an Egyptian person and talk about Jesus' teachings, you would need someone who knows quite well, who is a very clever person, especially to the Greeks. Paul spoke Greek because his father was Greek, his mom was Jewish. Paul of Tarsus. Tarsus is in Greece. It's not in the Middle East. It's an island in Greece. That's why his name Tarsus, Paul of Tarsus, or Saul of Tarsus, because Paul was the after the road of Damascus, but before he was Saul of Tarsus, or Saul of Tarsus, Saulo, Saul or Saulo of Tarsus. So why would Jesus send Saul? Because Saul, he could speak Greek, he could reach, he could understand how the Greek mind works. He could understand all the traditions. That's why Jesus waited the correct moment to go to the Gentiles. The other apostles, they didn't go. They went to the Jews. That's why Jesus said, go to the lost sheep of Israel. So go only to the Jews. Talk about me, but only to the Jews. Talk about what you saw only to the Jews. And live with me. Maybe after the crucifixion, I think was 5 or 6 years, in the road of Damascus. Then Paul was there, ready for the work, waiting for his orders. Then we have Paul of Tarsus. Let's see here. Leah, hello, Leah. Good evening. So here Leah says that in Matthew 7:6, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, yeah? Neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample, they lest they trample then under the feet and turn again and run. That's it. Thank you very much, Leah. Another passage where Jesus clearly say, don't go there. Do not throw your words, not throw your energy for those who cannot understand yet. Do not throw your pearls to the swine, to the pigs. Why? Because Jesus didn't like swine? No, because here he's using this expression to say, do not spend your energy with those who are not ready yet. Leave them there. Their time will come. Don't worry. That's what Jesus did with the Gentiles, mainly with the Greek and the Greek islands and the Mediterranean. But later, after Paul, we had many apostles who came to earth. We have later on in Italy, 1,200 years after the crucifixion, 1,100, I think, we had Saint John, the the youngest apostle, the only apostle who didn't died, who wasn't killed. All the 11 apostles, no, all the 10, because Judas killed himself. So the other 10 apostles, they were killed. The only one which wasn't killed was John, the youngest apostle, the loved one, like Jesus said, you know, the one who Jesus gave the care, of his mother. He said to John, John, look after my mother when he was on the cross. That's why Jesus used to call him my loved apostle, the loved one. So 1,100 years later, The same John came as Saint Francis. Why he came in Italy, in Umbria, to try to remind people that Christianity wasn't about the Crusades, wasn't about going to invade Middle East and fight with the Muslims, with the Arabic traditions, Arab cultures, but Christianity was to love one another and not do this. That's why he went to talk with Saladin, who was the how you call sheikh, the main person of the I forgot the title that the Saladin had, guys. Sorry, the general of the Muslim at that time. We can put it this way. Francis went to talk to Saladin, and Saladin said to him, "My friend, I would kill any Christian coming to my land, but you are different because what you do is what Jesus said. You really live his words. But the other your friends, they say to love, but they come here to kill us. Jesus said, love your enemy, but they come here to kill us. We are not enemies, but now we're going to have to become enemies because they are trying to invade my land. I have to kill them." So St. Francis, he came. Then we have also Jan Hus in Czech Republic, the man who was burned at the stake. He was trying to, he went against um, the Catholic Church at the time of the Reformation. And he was there trying to spread his words that, yes, we have to follow what's in the Bible, and to be asking for money is not in the Bible. We should not be selling our faith. He was talking about the indulgences, like Martin Luther also fought against in Germany, like John Wycliffe also fought in England, like Melanchthon. So if I'm not Melanchthon, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name properly, in Switzerland. But Jan Hus, once he was burning at the stake, he said that you are burning the duck, because Hus, if I'm not mistaken, in Czech means duck. But one day a beautiful swan will come and will fly so high. 300 years later, we have Allan Kardec reincarnating. Allan Kardec is the reincarnation of Jan Hus. Why Allan Kardec came again? Why Jan Hus came again? Because at the time that Jan Hus, he was trying to say to people in Europe, let's not work only to let's not praise these indulgences. Let's not only believe that God wants only the material stuff. Let's not sell our faith. Let's use our knowledge to go against these vanities from some people in the Catholic religion. Not all, of course, okay? Not all. But some people in the Middle Ages, they were lost in their minds, especially some crazy popes that we had. So then, 300 years later, he comes as Allan Kardec, but he came in a time where society was more prepared. He came where in France, where the ideas of luminism, I think it's in English, that um, how you call, I forgot, guys, that movement, that intellectual movement in France was spreading the ideas that men could use their brain. They could go against religion. Not that they should be against religion, but the way in which they were preaching, the Catholic Church was preaching religion wasn't correct. That men should be more free. Men, he could have a faith, but a rational faith. So Allan Kardec was trying to mediate faith with our intellect, with our rational faith. He was trying to talk about rational faith. So, but you see, took 300 years after Jan Hus to become Allan Kardec to be spreading Spiritism. And now, according to Joana de Angelis and Divaldo Franco, many spirits, they will come to Earth. According to Chico Xavier himself, Emmanuel is already reincarnated, his mentor, in São Paulo, and he is a young man, maybe about 20 years old, 22 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Divaldo Franco said, I don't see Joana de Angelis as I used to see. Why, Divaldo? Because she's already reincarnated. She's a little girl. Of course, they still talking, especially when Divaldo sleeps or when she sleeps. This connection happens, but she's already reincarnated. Saint Francis of Assisi, according to Divaldo Franco, will reincarnate in Europe again to try to enlighten the European heart, which has become the most atheist continent. So Divaldo explains to us that many spirits they will come. And why will they come? Are they not busy over there in the spiritual world? They have nothing to do? No, they have many things to do. But they are coming here to bring the light, to bring the knowledge to people, to explain to people life is more than this. That's why we have to understand that if Jesus said to those ones, to the apostles, do not go to the Gentiles, Paul he went. Like Kardec spread many, like many others, they were bringing some new knowledge. Many more will bring many more knowledge to us, but it's a matter of time. André Luiz, according to Divaldo Franco, will reincarnate soon, and he's gonna be working again in medicine. And many things written in the André Luiz books nowadays are studied in some colleges back in Brazil, where some doctors they are more open-minded for this connection between the spiritual world and our world, the matter world. But only a few. But André Luiz explains that in the future, André Emmanuel explains that in the future, many books of André Luiz would be studied in the medicine, the traditional medicine schools around the world. And then you guys think, like, come on, guys, who would believe that one day we would have internet? Who would believe one day that we would have this here, a laptop or a mobile phone, that we could have Zoom and we could connect with around the world, expressing messages, saying anything that we want? Who would have thought about this? No one. So, for those who say, Vanelli, come on, you are saying this because you are a spiritist. That's why I talk about André Luiz. But many of his knowledge there makes a lot of sense, guys. I would invite you guys to read his books. And many things that he said was only discovered later on. Sorry, guys. Many things that he said was only discovered later on, like the pineal gland that we have here in our brain. André Luiz spoke about the pineal gland, I think, in the 1940s. Science only discovered the pineal gland in the 70s. So, 30 years later, guys, they only start to discover the pineal gland 30 years later from what André Luiz said. Many things that André Luiz says, I'm not a doctor, of course, but if you talk to Dr. What's his name? Décio Iandolini Jr., or the doctors from AMI, the Brazilian Spiritism Medical Association, they bring all these cases where André Luiz said something 50 years ago, and later, only 30, 40, 50 years later, medicine discovered or realized that he was correct, perhaps. Okay, guys. So we're gonna be closing tonight, guys. So we stopped here in the item 10. I know it was a lot of information because I talk a lot. I talk too fast. I'm sorry about this. But next week, we're going to be talking about item 11, which says the health do not need a doctor. That's going to be another interesting part about this um, chapter. But again, it's always about this. It's about knowledge, but it's going to be nice. We're going to explain next week. I hope that I was able to make myself clear and understandable to everyone. If by any chance, because I talked too fast, you guys didn't get what I said, apologies. If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask us on our Facebook page or here. But yeah, and for those who are here for the first time, just to let you know, we have here our healing, which we will start in about 20 minutes. Okay, and we'll be here on our YouTube channel. So you just have to stay here on our YouTube channel. Maybe you guys have time to go and grab a glass of water, and you guys can see our virtual healing here at 8:30. Our healing team would be here, you know, reading a book, uh, trying to spread a little bit more about Jesus' teachings and giving this virtual healing, which, believe me, guys, is the same as you would be as if you were in a spiritual center, because everything's a matter of energy, like the spirits they say, and everything's a matter of connection. So it doesn't matter where you are, if you connect with their energy, if you try to connect yourself with your mentors and the good spirits, this healing would be useful to you guys, believe me. Let me see here. Also here, for those who wants to study a little bit more about Spiritism and wants to understand a little bit more about the Spirit's book, we have here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Our studies, the study of the Spiritist book. On this one is made via Zoom, so you guys have to send an email to us, spiritismisland@gmail.com, and someone will send to you a link and you guys can participate. Guys, you are more than welcome. And also, guys, please don't forget that we have our still gonna have our lives every Tuesday and every Thursday a 7:15, and every Sunday a 11:15. We're gonna be back in September. We don't have the confirmed date yet and location, but we'll be sharing that soon, guys. Once you have more details, we're gonna be sharing our Facebook page or here. But thanks very much for everyone. Let me see here. Oops. Uh, Thanks, Gabriel. I'm glad you like. Nice to have you here. Leah is here. Thanks very much, Leah. I'm glad you like. If it was good for you, and for everyone, I'm happy, But that's it, guys. So we're gonna do our final prayer now. So for those who feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Try to calm down our minds. Try to be here and only here now. Dear God, we would like to thank for everything that we have, for another opportunity to be here talking about the teachings of Jesus, Allan Kardec, and the good spirits. Thank you very much for this opportunity and for this space. Also, we would like to ask guidance from the good spirits for those brothers and sisters who perhaps are thinking about suicidal, who perhaps are losing their lives with vices, who perhaps are wasting their time doing things that they supposed not be doing. Help them, dear God. Bring to them some sense. Bring them this peace that once we talk about Jesus, at least myself, I feel in my heart. Try to share this peace, this love, which was brought to our Master with them. Then I hope that those ones who are in a difficult situation also, they find peace and console. And I hope they understand that everything will pass, but good days ahead will come also. Thank God, and so be it. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Lou. Guys, have a lovely time. Have a lovely evening. All the best for you. And I see you guys next Tuesday or maybe Thursday also. Okay? Bye, guys.